Joining us next is Matt Vaughan. Matt is the founder and CEO of MV Corporate Health. He's the corporate health coach that CEOs to turn to when they want to improve leadership, reduce stress, and create a more positive and productive work culture. Matt is on a mission, he tells us, to revolutionise the corporate health sector so that busy professionals can thrive, which is something, a mission very close to the Corporate Dojo's heart as well. So excited to have Matt join us on the show this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
So obviously, Matt, we've been talking to Chris about some of the big picture priorities around, what is corporate health, why is it an important strategy. Really keen to take the next level and deep dive into some of the detail as to why. Let's talk about human potential and performance and how being a fit, healthy version of ourselves makes a difference. So, if we could start, for example, around, some of the strategies for companies actually becoming healthier. What are some of the things that people should be doing to be healthier?
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me on, first and foremost. But I honestly believe that in the world that we live in right now, there's so much fluff out there about what we should be doing. Yeah. Our expectations are somewhat too high because we've got these funny little things that we put in our hands. I think they're called mobile phones. And through social media alone, we're looking at people that are fit and healthy. And I had a word to one of my clients just yesterday, and I said, just because someone goes away on a holiday once in a year and takes 500 pictures and then puts them out online,
after filtering them.
Yeah, after filtering them, doesn't mean that they're healthy all year round.
Yeah.
It just means that they look what they call aesthetically healthy, but truly they're not really healthy.
Yeah. So what does it mean to be really healthy in your view then?
Yeah, to be healthy, it was, Chris touched on it before and I 100% agree. It's very much about how do you feel within yourselves and how do you feel within your own performance? How do you feel when you wake up? Like, are you going to bed and falling asleep quickly? Or are you struggling, tossing and turning in bed for 2 to 3 hours, worried either about what's happening tomorrow, stress, mental side of things? Are you waking up feeling extremely tired and just want to snooze that snooze button? Hit that snooze button continually, and then you're in a rush, and because you're in a rush, you haven't got your food prepared. You haven't got. It's about organisation. So to be healthy, I very much focus on performance. So performance within an organisation, which comes down to your individual performance.
That's right. It's the organisation's result as a collection of what we're all bringing. Absolutely. And as you were sharing that insight, what was going through my mind is even that decision to get out of bed. When we talk about overcoming sickies, if we talk about how we address that absenteeism issue, that choice that people make when they open their eyes, the alarm's gone off, how am I feeling today? All too often people say, not up for it. And just roll back over, go back to sleep.
Absolutely. Just to touch on that, I coach many individuals and client bases, and I talk to them about my routine, just to give them an insight about what does someone like myself get up to. And it's not rocket science, but I've been doing this for a very long time. I actually wake up at, say, anywhere between 5:30 and 6. I'll open up my curtain, so I let natural sunlight come in. I've already woken up, but Do you
have a partner? Are they awake at this stage?
No, not at this stage. I do, but we're not quite living together. It's a whole new story. But,
Sorry, we digress. I'm just picturing my husband at 5:30 in the morning as I open the curtains.
but lucky enough, I'm with someone that's a bit in sync with that side of things as well. So, and that's the other part of the routine eventually. But even waking up, natural sunlight coming in, and then when you do get up, I make my bed. It's about creating those success pathways that make you feel like you're tick, tick, tick. Go downstairs. I have my water before I have my coffee. I've got a beautiful little son as well. He's my everything. So, and he doesn't live with me all the time. So when I do have him, I'm getting his food ready. I'm getting my food ready. I'm getting ready for school. This morning, for instance, the same thing. My routine between not having him and having him, are the same. It's just that I'm preparing a bit more food for him. I'm making sure that, you know, that he's okay, he's healthy and happy. The food he eats is super important to me because
as it should be.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he sees what Daddy eats.
Yeah.
And he knows what Daddy drinks.
Yeah.
So it's water, you know, and I have a coffee.
Yeah.
You know, it's those routines, and I'm not here saying that I do amazing stuff. I do the basics, and I do the basics well, and I do the basics well and often.
How do people maintain the discipline to do that? Because I'm sure some people are listening going, I wish I could do that. You know, I really struggle. I know I should do it. I know what the theory is, but I really struggle to do it. How do you get into that rhythm? Yeah,
it's a really good question as well, because again, dealing with performance means very much behavioural patterns. So even going to bed, so those people that go to bed at 11:30, you know, quarter to 11, maybe 12, and then they're expected to get up at 6 because they need to get into the office at whatever time that might be. Just changing that behaviour, it's amazing what it does for them on a level at the end of the day. I can literally put an extra day into any one person's life by changing what time they come to bed, time they go to bed. So you change that 11:30 into a 10:30, 9:30-ish, all of a sudden their body is waking up earlier. They've got that extra hour to do the small stuff that matters. Now that's where true performance really starts to kick in. Because once you've ticked that box, and then you move on to the next thing, you know? So wake up. It might just mean wake up, drink water, and go for a 5-minute walk outside before you get into the other routine of life. You get your partner into that as well, and when they both can join together and they start working together, you become a team. There's nothing stronger than a team.
And that reminds me of when I did grow up in the martial arts. You know, one of the things that really helped us to keep turning up and to have the discipline was almost peer pressure. It's like, you know, there is an expectation, there is a standard that we are maintaining here, and we're going to save each other from ourselves when we don't have the strength to stick to those promises to ourselves. So I agree. I think if we can get our whole family, even in an ideal world, into some level of discipline around it, we can help each other.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I do specialise with working with couples as well, not just executive CEOs and things like that there, or, you know, sales groups. I deal with couples on a level that, you know, that's one of the first questions: are you both in? And as soon as they're both in, I just got a couple from America who's just joined my, you know, part of one of my plans from America, you know. And Chris brought up earlier about technology. Well, there's no way I would be able to do this unless I didn't have the technology to be able to communicate and bring them something that's worth them creating that change.
And I'm guessing it's in the application, isn't it? Because there's lots of information available. We can all read about health and wellbeing and exercise and all of its benefits, but actually applying it, making it happen on a regular basis is, as you said, what changes ultimately our performance. Can we spend a moment talking about nutrition? You know, we all know, I often will ask people, okay, who's eaten breakfast this morning? Who hasn't? You know, the number of people who, as you've said, roll out of bed, got to go, don't have time. They're not actually giving their body the fuel that they need. Help us to understand some of the fundamentals around nutrition and our impact at work.
Absolutely. Can I start at hydration first and foremost? Like I believe it's probably one of the most important things. I see I'm going to call it a coffee mug here. You know, so many people just hit their coffee straight up.
It's got water in it?
Yeah, of course it's got water in it. But again, like I suggested, start drinking with a little bit of water first and foremost. Doesn't have to be like a gallon. It could be 500 mils, 200 mils, whatever. But as a little tip, you know, optimal health is the grand scheme that you want for everyone. So one little equation I always use for every one of my clients is you take your body weight. So let's say I'm 84 kgs. Times that by 0.033 will give you a literage of what would we call as an optimal sort of literage for better health and well-being.
Excellent.
So that's your water tick. Now in terms of nutrition, for me it's about very much looking at what you're currently doing. So there's one of the biggest issues is you go to a gym or you get a plan off the website, off any website, and it'll say go to 1200 calories. It'll say go to this, but there's no education behind it. And if you were on 2200 calories prior, and now you've been told to go on to 1200 calories.
You're starving.
You're starving.
Yeah.
You might get a result, but
Yeah.
there's two things wrong. You got no education behind
Yep.
it. You get this amazing result. You think you can stay on those calories. I'm just talking calories because that's a common thing that people talk about. And then you get you hate life because it's restrictive.
Yeah.
You don't like it. You turn off, and then all of a sudden you've bounced back to what you used to be, and now you're on that cycle of that that merry-go-round of, oh yeah, yes, I'm going to do it. Oh no, I failed. Oh no, and then it's fail, fail, fail.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah. Doesn't suit me.
Doesn't
don't have
suit.
what it takes.
So education
Absolutely.
is the absolute key. One of the biggest things I always say, as soon as I do this one thing with all of my clients, as soon as I put in a higher protein diet, now that can be from plants, that could be from anything. Most people start to lose weight straight away. Now it's because in this hyper palatable world that we live in, I mean, if we walked out of this place right now and we walked 2 minutes down each side of Burke Street, whatever it was, we would find snacks that were extremely tasty,
Yes.
carbohydrate filled,
Yeah.
which is not a bad thing, but also quite high fats with them, with dressings and so forth.
Yeah.
Normally minimal on protein,
Yeah.
and because they're minimal on protein, we're not getting that satiety. So we're not getting that function that says to our brain to tell our stomach we're full.
Yeah.
Low protein means we can pretty much eat, just continually eat and overeat and excess calories, but your brain's never getting that signal to say, I'm full, we can stop now.
Yeah.
High carbohydrates, high fats, they don't give that signal away.
Yeah.
So that's why I always say, as the basics, start with a higher protein diet.
Yeah.
What you do outside of that's fine. But you'll find that you often restrict on other foods. You restrict yourself on snacking. You're not looking in the fridge and the pantries, etc. anymore.
What I really love about, what you focused us there on is that at the end of the day, we've got to make this doable. We always say to people, it's not about everyone becoming an elite athlete. It's about taking those baby steps, cementing some of those disciplines, and when we realise we've fallen off the horse, that's okay. Don't beat ourselves up, just get back on it. So really appreciate, those practical break it down steps that you've given us there. So thank you so much for joining us. How can the people watching find out more about you, what you do?
Yeah, so look, I'm on the social medias as everyone is, for a more positive reason. So from Instagram, it's Matt Vaughan Fit. With my website, it's www.mvcorporatehealth.com.
Fantastic. Well, I'm very proud of both of our guests who remembered their website addresses. That hasn't happened every week, so well done. Appreciate, again, as I said, you being here.